You walk into a room, not a word spoken, yet every head turns. Why? Because high-value women don't shout to be heard, they speak once, and the room listens. It's not what you say, darling, it's how you say it. Your voice is your brand, your tone is your throne, and your silence, that's pure power. Today I'm not here to teach you to talk more, I'm here to teach you how to speak less, but rule more. Ready? Imagine a woman who walks like she owns the air. Not loud, not passive, just deliberate. That's a high-value woman. And when she speaks, you remember it. Because her words are measured like poetry, sharp like truth, soft like velvet, mysterious, like a secret you're dying to uncover. A high-value woman doesn't need to dominate a room with volume. Her presence is the volume. Let me break it down. Because it's not about talking more, it's about talking right. She walks into the room, not in a rush, not seeking attention, but somehow everyone turns. That's the magic of a woman who talks slowly, like she has nothing to prove. She doesn't speak to fill silence. She speaks to own it. You see, talking slowly isn't just a speaking style. It's a reflection of the inner empire you've built. It says, I am not desperate to be understood because I understand myself. It says, I do not need to race with your energy because I am at peace with mine. And peace, that is a power they'll never see coming. And here's the truth. When you talk slowly, you leave room for gravity. Your words carry weight. Every pause is a statement. Every silence is a punctuation. It makes people feel like they're not just listening to your voice, they're witnessing something meaningful. Do you know who talks fast? The insecure, the uncertain, the ones trying to outrun judgment. Do you know who talks slow? The women who have already accepted themselves. Watch a classy woman order coffee. She doesn't rush. She doesn't repeat herself 3 times to feel heard. She says it once, politely, and with presence. She waits. Not impatiently, but intentionally. Because even her smallest moment reflects her standards. And it's not just what you say, it's what you don't say. When someone insults her, she doesn't snap back with 20 defensive comebacks. She might tilt her head slightly, smile faintly, and say, noted. That's it, 1 word. But said slowly, it's more powerful than a paragraph. There was a girl in college. Everyone underestimated her. She didn't speak much in group projects, and when she did, it was soft, slow, and concise. People thought she wasn't smart. Until presentation day, she walked to the front, took her time setting up, looked the panel in the eye, and delivered a slow, steady, stunning presentation. No fluff, no filler, just facts, vision, and calm energy. The whole class, speechless. You want to be that woman. Because every time you talk slowly, you're telling the world, I am not in a hurry to prove who I am. I've already proven it to myself. It's how queens talk. Deliberate, thoughtful, unapologetic, not chasing moments, creating them. In a job interview, they'll remember your slow, steady response more than the person who answered every question in rapid fire. In friendships, they'll respect your ability to pause, reflect, and respond rather than react. In love, he'll feel your words because they arrive not in haste, but with heartbeat. And listen. When you're not rushing to speak, you start noticing. You become a better listener. You read between the lines. You hear what's not being said. You gain emotional intelligence. You become the woman who sees more, hears deeper, and speaks with rare clarity. Even on social media, when you post a voice note, a reel, or a story, your slow voice will feel more grounded, more real. While others scream to be noticed, you'll whisper to be remembered. And the world, it listens differently when a woman speaks like she already knows her worth. So, yes, talk slowly, like your words are expensive, like your energy is sacred, like every sentence is a signature. And let them wonder how a woman so calm can carry a storm inside her, yet never need to unleash it just to prove she can. There's something dangerously attractive about a woman who can make you laugh and make you think in the same sentence. That's not a coincidence. That's not charm. That's mastery. When a high-value woman mixes wit with wisdom, she doesn't just speak, she casts a spell. She's the kind of woman who can silence a room with a quote and then make you laugh seconds later with a line that hits just as hard. She doesn't have to choose between brains or humor. She is the balance. And that balance, that's where her power lives. Because wit without wisdom is shallow. Wisdom without wit is heavy. But combine the two, you get elegance with edge, lightness with depth. And that's what makes her unforgettable. Imagine this. A man at a dinner party tries to flirt with her in that predictable way. He says, "So, are you always this intimidating?" Most women would either get defensive or flattered. Boom, one sentence. She put him in his place, made the table laugh, and didn't lose her grace. That's what mixing wit with wisdom looks like. Every word is velvet with a hidden blade. She's not loud, she's sharp. She doesn't speak to impress, she speaks to express. With style, sparkle, and strength. There's a woman I once met at a business conference. While most speakers gave data and numbers like robots, she walked onto the stage and said, "I came here to give you numbers, but I also came here to wake you up because your bank account isn't the only thing overdrafted. Your confidence is too." People laughed. Then they listened because her humor wasn't fluff. It carried truth. She had them laughing one minute, reflecting the next. That's power. In daily life, you see it too. She's the friend who doesn't preach, but somehow always drops a quote that sticks in your mind like glue. She'll say, "You're not confused, babe. You're just ignoring your own clarity." And then wink, like it's no big deal. But it is. Because that one line hits deeper than 1,000 advice columns. That's her style. She disarms you with humor, then delivers the truth while you're still smiling. You know what's rare? A woman who can be the smartest in the room without ever making you feel small. Who can make you laugh while raising your standards. That's the kind of woman people fall for. That's the kind of woman people follow. When she's in an argument, she doesn't scream to win. She makes one statement, funny but factual, that turns the heat down and the awareness up. Like when someone tries to gaslight her and she says, "Oh, sweetheart, I may forget my keys, but I never forget reality." Then she walks away, calm, confident, unshaken. It's not just about sarcasm. It's about timing, tone, tact. Her words don't stab. They sting with class. Because she's not petty. She's poetic with her power. Even in romantic relationships, It's this blend of humor and depth that sets her apart. When a man says, "You're different," she doesn't say thank you. She smirks and says, "I know. Regular's out of stock." And she says it not to show off, but because she means it. It's not arrogance, it's self-awareness, served with a side of sass. Mixing wit with wisdom isn't about rehearsed comebacks. It's about knowing who you are so deeply that your humor naturally carries weight. You're not trying to be funny, you are funny. Because you've lived, you've felt, and you've risen. And that experience adds layers to your language. One woman I knew worked in tech, male-dominated space, competitive energy, sharp minds. She told me the only way she thrived wasn't by being the loudest or the coldest. It was by blending her brilliance with bold humor. She'd say things like, "I'm not trying to break the glass ceiling. I'm just surprised it's still there." Men respected her. Women admired her because she made people think while making them laugh. That's rare currency. When you speak with wit and wisdom, people can't put you in a box. You're not just the funny one. You're not just the smart one. You're both. You're unpredictable. World addicted to extremes. You are the middle ground they crave. And let's be honest, there's something healing about that mix. Life is heavy. People are tired. A woman who can drop a truth bomb and still lighten the room, that's therapy without a couch. That's leadership without a title. She's the woman who, when someone says, "Life's hard," responds with, "So is life hard." But the view's worth it. And suddenly the whole energy shifts. Because she doesn't deny pain, she dances with it. Even online, her captions aren't basic. She'll write something like, "Smile like a mystery, talk like a memory, and walk like you've already arrived." One sentence. And people save it, share it, screenshot it. Because it's not just cute, it's coded with power. She knows words are weapons, but also art. And every time she speaks, it's a masterpiece of humor and honesty. So if you want to be unforgettable, don't just drop knowledge, deliver it in a way that wraps people up, makes them laugh, makes them feel seen, makes them remember you even days later. That's the mark of a woman who doesn't just talk. She shifts atmospheres. A high-value woman doesn't always scream in declarations. She speaks in questions. Not because she doesn't know the answer, but because she knows power doesn't scream, it invites. She doesn't walk into a room with "I'm right" energy. She walks in with "Have you thought about this" energy. And that right there changes everything. Why? Because questions create reflection. Reflection creates awareness. And awareness, that's where transformation begins. You ever notice how some people try to dominate a conversation by having the loudest voice or the most facts? But then she walks in, doesn't raise her tone, just smiles and says, "But what if you're looking at it from the wrong angle?" And suddenly, the noise dies. People pause. Why? Because that one question unlocked a door no one noticed. She didn't need to argue. She made them think. That's grace with gravity. A woman who speaks in questions isn't unsure, she's strategic. She's not interested in impressing you. She's interested in awakening you. She knows that telling someone what to think only feeds their ego. But asking the right question, that feeds their soul. Like when her friend is about to text an ex at 2 a.m., crying, broken, drunk on memories. Most would say, don't do it. He's not worth it. But she leans in, takes her hand and whispers, if he really loved you, would you be here crying alone tonight? That question doesn't just stop the text. It opens a truth. It creates space for healing. Because when you give people the answer, they might reject it. But when you ask the right question, they discover the truth on their own. And that's where real power lives. You see, speaking in questions is not about manipulation. It's about mastery. You're not directing people. You're guiding them inward. There was a woman in a leadership meeting, surrounded by male executives, who kept debating about what the company should do. Everyone tossing strategies, stats, and ego on the table. She sat quietly for 20 minutes. The room changed, just like that. No one had even asked that. It's the same in relationships. When a man brags about how every girl chases him, she doesn't get jealous. No one can brag about how every girl chases him. She doesn't get jealous. It's the same in relationships. No one can brag about how every girl chases him. Allah smiles and says, and who do you chase? That one question flips the ego. Because she's not intimidated, she's intrigued by authenticity, not attention. Speaking in questions is how you stay mysterious without being vague. It's how you maintain your elegance without losing your edge. At a dinner, someone once asked her, why are you still single? Expecting her to defend herself. She leaned back and replied, why does everyone assume being alone means something's missing? Boom. Suddenly, she wasn't the one on trial, they were. She didn't explain her worth, she made them reconsider their assumptions. That's the difference. In friendships too, when someone says, I feel lost, she doesn't immediately try to fix them. She says, what if you're not lost? What if you're just transitioning into a new version of yourself? That simple reframe in question form offers light instead of a lecture. Even in small moments, like at a coffee shop when the barista messes up her order, she doesn't scold, she smiles and asks, rough morning? That one question shifts the energy. It doesn't just get her a corrected drink. It gives the other person grace. And people never forget grace. Especially when it's delivered in a world full of blame. The truth is, a high-value woman doesn't force her voice into every corner. She chooses her words like an artist. Each one placed with intention. And when she asks questions, it's not to create doubt, it's to awaken depth. She knows people don't always remember what you told them, but they always remember what they realized through you. Like the girl who was scared to apply for her dream job because she wasn't qualified. Most would have said, you should go for it. But she asked, and who told you that you're not allowed to grow into the role? That sentence, disguised as a question, shook her friend's beliefs more than a motivational speech ever could. She doesn't speak to show off. She speaks to stir something in you. Even online, her captions aren't just quotes. They're questions that challenge you in the softest way. Like, what if your biggest fear is actually your next breakthrough in disguise? Or why are you trying so hard to be liked by people who don't even like themselves? And suddenly, you're not scrolling anymore. You're sitting with it. You're thinking about your life, your patterns, your choices. That's how deeply her words hit. Without volume, without force, just precision. Because she knows real impact doesn't come from having the last word, it comes from asking the right first one. A woman like that doesn't need to win debates, she wins respect. She doesn't dominate the room, she shifts it. Not with answers that end the conversation, but with questions that begin the transformation. ChatGPT said, a high-value woman never explains too much. She knows that when you over-explain, you're not clarifying.